My neighbor is 78. Last month, he sold me a car for $3,800 that'll outlive most of the $30,000 crossovers rolling off dealer lots today. That's not a fluke, it's a pattern. The most reliable, cheapest to run cars in America are hiding in plain sight, driven by folks old enough to remember when cars were built to last, not least. Everybody under 50 scrolls right past them. After 22 years under the hood, those are exactly the ones I buy. Here are 5. I'm counting these down from 5 to 1, and I'm spending the most time on number 1 because that's the one I'd hand my own daughter the keys to without a second thought. These are the cars the market laughs at. Soft, floaty, old people cars, right up until you look at the repair bills and realize the joke's on everyone else. Let's get into it. Number 5, Buick LeSabre. I want you to picture the most invisible car in any grocery store parking lot. Beige, 4 doors, a little chrome, sitting dead level, usually with a handicap placard on the mirror. That's the LeSabre, and it's the cheapest bulletproof car in America right now. You can buy a clean one, and I mean genuinely clean, one owner, garage kept, for $3 to $6 grand. Here's why I get excited when one rolls into my bay. Under the hood is the 3800 Series 2 or Series 3 5.6, and if you know engines, you already know where I'm going. General Motors built that 3.8-liter for decades, and it is arguably the most durable engine they ever produced. Naturally aspirated, so there's no turbo to cook itself. Timing chain, not a belt, so there's no $1,200 interval hanging over your head. It makes a lazy 200 horsepower, and it does not care one bit about being ignored. I have personally seen these motors cross 250,000 miles on nothing but oil and coolant. The 4T65E automatic bolted behind it is just as tough. A proper torque converter transmission that shifts soft and lasts. Now let me be straight with you, because a good mechanic tells you the catch. The Series 2 3800, roughly 1997 to about 2004, has one known weakness: the plastic upper intake plenum and the lower intake manifold gaskets. Over time, they get brittle, and they can leak coolant, sometimes into the engine. Left alone, that's how these motors die. But here's what the internet doommongers won't tell you. The fix is dirt cheap in parts. A gasket set is $60 to $100. Aftermarket companies make an upgraded aluminum plenum and metal coolant elbows specifically to cure this forever. At a shop, you're looking at $900 to $1,000 all in once, and then you never think about it again. On a $4,000 car that'll run another decade, that's not a problem. That's a negotiating tool. So here's your LeSabre inspection checklist. First, pull the oil cap and look for a milkshake. Tan, foamy residue means coolant's already getting in. Walk away or gut the price. Second, check the coolant reservoir. If it's crusty and low, that intake's probably weeping. Third, on the test drive, watch the temperature gauge like a hawk. It should sit rock steady in the middle. Fourth, and this is the pro move, find one owned by an actual senior. Low miles, complete service records, every oil change stapled together in a folder in the glove box. That car's been babied its whole life. The only reason the LeSabre is this cheap is that it has 0 cool factor and the badge says Buick. But if you think that's overlooked, the next one is a rear-wheel drive V8 that cops and cab companies trusted with their lives, and you can buy it for the price of a used dirt bike. Number 4, Mercury Grand Marquis. There's a certain kind of car that spent 30 years quietly earning a reputation while nobody was paying attention, and the Grand Marquis is the poster child. This is a body-on-frame, rear-wheel drive V8 sedan built like a pickup truck, with the body sitting on rubber mounts atop a real steel ladder frame. That's not nostalgia talking. That construction is why these things shrug off abuse that would fold a modern unibody crossover in half. Here's the detail that should make you sit up. The Grand Marquis rides on Ford's Panther platform, the exact same bones as the Ford Crown Victoria, the car that was America's default police cruiser and taxi for 2 straight decades. Same 4.6-liter modular V8, same transmission, same frame. Fleet operators ran these to 300,000 and 400,000 miles on brutal duty cycles, idling all day, absorbing curb impacts, and getting oil changes whenever somebody remembered. I've had customers bring me Panthers north of 250,000 miles with the original engine and transmission still doing their job. The 4.6 is conservatively tuned, it's not stressed, and it just refuses to quit. And the Grand Marquis specifically was aimed dead center at retirees. 6-passenger bench seating, a floaty highway ride, a trunk you could hide a body in. This was Grandpa's Sunday car. Which means the ones on the market now were driven gently, garaged, and maintained on schedule. The catch, and every Panther has this same one. On the pre-2004 engines, the cylinder heads only had 4 threads holding each spark plug in. If some ham-fisted mechanic over-torqued them, or a plug worked loose, it could literally blow out of the head. Sounds terrifying. It isn't a deal breaker. There's a permanent thread repair insert called a time cert that fixes it for good. And if the plugs have already been done right, you'll never see the issue. Post-2004 heads corrected it entirely. Grand Marquis inspection checklist. First, pop the coolant reservoir and check for that intake crossover leak I mentioned on the LeSabre. Early 4.6 engines had a plastic intake with the same weakness, cheap to fix. Second, listen at idle for a puffing or ticking sound near the front of the engine. That can be a spark plug backing out. Second and a half, ask if the plugs were ever replaced and by who. Third, look under the rear for air ride models. Some had load-leveling shocks that can leak. Fourth, this thing should drive like a boat in the best way. Dead quiet, dead smooth. Any clunk over bumps is just tired suspension bushings, and those are cheap. You can put one of these in your driveway for $4,000 to $9,000. A rear drive V8 that'll outlast a modern SUV with parts on every auto store shelf in the country because they built millions of them. But the Panther has a fancier cousin, same guts, way more leather, and that's number 3. Number 3, Lincoln Town Car. Some cars get nicknames from the internet. This one earned its nickname from real life. People have literally called the town car the grandpa car for 30 years, and they mean it as a compliment. This is the Panther platform again. Same bulletproof 4.6 V8. Same frame, same 300,000-mile bloodline as the Crown Vic and the Grand Marquis, but wrapped in genuine leather, wood trim, and a back seat you could take a nap in. Here's why it's a gold mine. The livery industry ran these into the ground for airport runs and funerals precisely because they were cheap to keep alive and never left anyone stranded. That means the mechanical reputation is proven at scale. And because it wears a Lincoln badge and looks old, the market prices it like a joke. $5 to $12 grand for a car that cost $45,000 new and drives like a leather-lined living room. Now, the town car has one signature quirk you absolutely need to know about, because it's the whole reason to negotiate: the rear air suspension. Instead of steel springs, the back end rides on airbags fed by a compressor. Over the years, the bags develop leaks. The car sags in the driveway overnight, and if you ignore it, the compressor burns out, chasing a leak it can't win. At a shop, air suspension work can run you $400 to $1,000. Sounds scary. But here's the mechanic's secret. You don't have to play that game. There's a coil spring conversion kit that ditches the air system entirely for real steel springs. It's around $100 to $200 in parts, it rides nearly identical, and it lasts the life of the car. A saggy town car isn't a problem car, it's a discounted car. Town car checklist. First, walk up to it cold, before it's been started. Does the rear end sit level, or is it squatting? A squat means air suspension, which means leverage for you. Second, start it and listen for the compressor running non-stop. That's a system fighting a leak. Third, check the coolant near the thermostat housing for the same intake leak weep as its siblings. Fourth, sink into the driver's seat and take it on the highway. If it glides silent and straight at 70, the bones are good. Everything else on these is cosmetic and cheap. If this kind of straight talk is saving you from a bad buy, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I've got more videos coming on the cars dealers push versus the ones that actually make financial sense. All right, number 2, and this is where we go from tough to genuinely luxurious. Number 2, Lexus ES350. Every so often a car comes along that's so quietly excellent, it makes you angry at the price it depreciates to, and the ES350 is that car. This is the sedan retiree's graduate to when they want luxury without a single ounce of drama. Soft, silent, plush, endlessly reliable, and here's the part the market completely misses. Underneath that Lexus badge, the ES350 is mechanically a dressed-up Toyota. Same platform family, same engine as the Camry and the Avalon. You are buying Lexus quiet and Lexus leather sitting on top of Toyota's most proven running gear. That engine is the 2 GRFE 3.5-liter V6, and I could talk about this motor all day. Timing chain, not a belt. Naturally aspirated, no turbos. Port injection on the earlier ones so it doesn't choke on carbon buildup the way a lot of modern direct injection engines do. It makes around 268 horsepower, it's smooth as glass, and it routinely runs past 250,000 miles. Toyota dropped this same engine family into the Camry, the Highlander, the Sienna, the RX, and the Avalon. When an automaker builds one engine that good and spreads it across their entire lineup, that's the one you want. The catch on the early ones, roughly 2007 to 2009, is a rubber section in the VVTY oil line. With enough heat and age, it can get brittle and, worst case, burst and dump the engine's oil in seconds. That is the one thing that can kill an otherwise immortal motor. But Toyota ran a service campaign on it, switched to an all-metal line on later cars, and the replacement part is cheap, somewhere between $130 and $290 installed. So the rule is simple. On any 2GR-powered car of that era, you confirm the metal oil line is in there, and then you drive it in peace for the next 15 years. ES350 checklist. First, get the VIN run at a Lexus or Toyota dealer and confirm that the oil line campaign was completed. This is non-negotiable. Second, on the older 6-speeds, take it on the highway when the transmission is hot and feel for a flare or a slur between gears. A healthy one shifts seamlessly. Third, check for a light oil seep at the front timing cover on higher mileage cars. It is not urgent, but factor it in past 120,000 miles. Fourth, look for the sticky dashboard issue on hot climate cars, where the dash surface turns tacky and glares in the windshield. There was coverage for it, and it is cosmetic. A clean ES350 runs you roughly $8,000 to $13,000 for the older ones, up to the high teens for a low-mileage model from 2014 to 2016. For a car that feels this expensive, that is theft. The ES is the appetizer. Because its cheaper twin, same engine, same reliability, more room, less badge tax, is the single best-kept secret in the used sedan market. That's number one. Number one, Toyota Avalon. Let me tell you about the customer who almost talked herself out of the best car she'd ever owned. She came in a couple years back, mid-50s, retiring soon, wanted something dead reliable and comfortable for long drives to see the grandkids. She was cross-shopping certified Lexus ES models with a budget around 22 grand. I asked if she'd looked at an Avalon. She wrinkled her nose and said, "Isn't that an old man's car?" I walked her out to the lot and pointed at a trade-in that had just come in. A one-owner Avalon, low miles, service folder in the glove box. I told her that old man's car has the exact same engine as the Lexus she's about to pay $6,000 more for. She bought the Avalon. She texts me every so often. 0 repairs. Her words last time, "Why does nobody talk about this car?" That's the whole video in one sentence. The Avalon has been called the old man's Lexus as an insult for 20 years, and every senior who bought one knew a secret the rest of the market refused to hear. It rides on the same platform as the Camry and shares that bulletproof 2GRFE V6 with the ES350, the RX, the Highlander, and the Sienna. Same 268 horsepower, same timing chain, same naturally aspirated, no turbo, no drama design. But it's a Toyota, not a Lexus, so it depreciates harder, which means you get 95% of the Lexus experience for thousands less. Now let me give you the numbers, because this is where it stops being opinion. RepairPal rates the Avalon 4 out of 5 for reliability and ranks it near the top of the entire full-size car class, with an average annual repair cost around $463. That's not $463 for a big repair, that's the whole year. I've read verified owner reports of these crossing 300,000 miles with essentially one repair on the books. That's not marketing. That's what a properly engineered, gently driven car actually does. On pricing, this is where you'll get a little angry if you overpaid for something German. A clean 2015 Avalon with reasonable miles lands in the range from $13,000 to $21,000. A 2016 averages right around $19,000. Something. Put that next to a comparable Lexus ES from the same year, and you're saving real money for a car that is mechanically its equal, with more back seat room than the Lexus to boot. And put it next to any new mid-size crossover at 35 grand, and it isn't even a contest on cost per mile. The catch is the same one as the ES, because it's the same engine. The 2007 to 2009 cars had that rubber VVTi oil line, and Toyota ran a campaign to address it. On the newer ones, it's a non-issue. So here's your Avalon checklist, and this is the one to screenshot. First, on any 2007 to 2009 car, verify at a dealer that the oil line campaign was completed. This is the only thing that can kill this engine and its cheap insurance. Second, warm it up and feel the transmission through a couple of full shifts. The 6-speed should be invisible when it's working right. Third, check for a light timing cover or water pump seep on higher mileage examples. It's not a deal breaker, just a bargaining chip, since a water pump on these runs you well under $700 done right. Fourth, and this is the pro tip that beats every other tip, hunt for the grandparent car. I'm dead serious. An Avalon owned by a retired couple, 60 or 70,000 miles, every service done at the dealer on time, garaged its whole life, one careful driver. That car is functionally new. It'll drive another 200,000 miles and never leave you on the shoulder. Who should buy an Avalon? Highway commuters, it was built to cruise at 80 all day, quiet and comfortable, sipping fuel for a big V6. Anyone who wants Lexus reliability and refinement without paying the Lexus premium. And anyone smart enough to ignore what a car says about them because what this one says is that you're too clever to overpay. Who should skip it? If you want sporty handling or something flashy, this isn't it. It's a cushion, not a scalpel. And if you need all-wheel drive for real snow country, look elsewhere. The older ones are front drive only. Here's my final take. If I had to buy one car today to drive for the next 10 years with the lowest possible total cost of ownership, and I couldn't spend more than 20 grand, I'd buy an Avalon and I wouldn't think twice. So there they are, 5 cars the market wrote off and seniors quietly cornered. The Buick LeSabre with the most durable V6 GM ever built. The Mercury Grand Marquis, a police-grade V8 for dirt bike money. The Lincoln Town Car, a leather-lined tank hiding behind a saggy air spring. The Lexus ES350, a Toyota in a tuxedo. And the Toyota Avalon, the best-kept secret in the entire used car market. Next time you're standing on a lot and a salesman steers you towards some 3-year-old lease return with a turbo and a warranty about to expire, you'll know better. The best deals aren't the ones that look impressive in the driveway. They're the ones an 80-year-old babied for a decade and then handed off for pennies. Like this video if it saved you money, subscribe for more truth the dealerships won't tell you, and do me one favor. Go be nice to the seniors at your local car meet. They've been right this whole time. I'll see you in the next one.